So I was watching a second anniversary livestream when I saw the scene, and the girl sitting beside Cinderella immediately caught my attention. Now the reason why she got my attention is because she obviously looks like Pina, which of course means that she also looks like Grave. So I immediately thought that could this girl actually be Grave? And my question was immediately answered. Well, kinda, because this post from the official Twitter actually revealed that this girl is a researcher named Abe. Abe? I'll just call her Abe because it sounds like Grave. Now it was revealed in this post that Abe is actually the person who created the second generation fairy tale models. And we can see from the trailer that just like Grave, Abe also seems to have a close relationship with Cinderella.
With you looking after me, I will stay beautiful for eternity.
And we know that Grave looked after Cinderella for 100 years, which is what made it possible for Cindy to remain beautiful. So I believe that the chances of Grave being Abe is actually pretty high. Now of course, this isn't enough information to conclude if Abe really is Grave. After all, we don't know if Grave is actually a former researcher, right? Well, there are actually hints in the game that could suggest that Grave is indeed a former researcher. First is the most obvious one, which is that Grave knows what the Vaphouse is.
So Cinderella is no longer a heretic?
No,
But I thought she was the first heretic.
she was fixed. That's right. You're well informed. I'm impressed.
Now remember, information about the Vaphouse is classified information. Only a handful of people knows about it before it was revealed to the public in Chapter 15. And even bigger CEOs like Shion and Ingrid don't know what the Vaphouse is or what it does before Chapter 9. The only reason why they found out about it is because of Ixia hacking a central government's database. Meanwhile, Grave, who's been wandering on the surface with almost no human contact for over 100 years, knows what the Vaphouse is, and she even knows that it was used to fix Cinderella. Now of course, in our previous speculations about Grave, we assumed that the reason why she knows about the Vaphouse is because she was subjected to the Vaphouse experiments. But if you think about it, it makes more sense that the reason why she knows about it is because she is a former researcher. After all, the people in the Vaphouse Institute don't really have any reason why they would want to explain what the Vaphouse is to a random masquerade sneaking. So maybe she is actually the researcher who injected Anachira with the Vaphouse. Now of course, there are also hints that came from the side missions. Because in the side mission where we accompanied Grave to recover the equipment she used to repair Cinderella, Neon pointed out how amazing Grave is for operating all of this equipment. Neon even suggested that Grave could be a Nikke researcher. Now, I actually hesitated on this theory for a bit because Grave said that the only research he did is on how to fix Cinderella. But then I remembered that fixing Cinderella included using the Vaphouse to fix her corruption. It was also revealed that some of Grave's memories already faded because of the passage of time. So maybe those memories include doing Nikke research in the past. It's also possible that she did the research before she became a Nikke, which explains why she doesn't remember doing it. Another reason why I think that Grave is indeed a former researcher is because of how smart she is. Because we know that Grave studied the crystals in the crystal region to create the sticks that she used to control said crystals, which she then used to protect Cinderella from the heretics. Grave was also able to fix Cinderella's coffin in one of the side missions. And of course, she was also able to fix one of the 7 dwarfs. This explains why the official post described her as a genius mechanic. And speaking of the official post, it was stated that Grave belongs to the Old Tale Squad, which is the squad where the second generation fairy tale models belong to. And Grave's weapon is even called the Writer's Eraser. And we can see in the official trailer that Abe is here with the Old Tale Squad. And we also know that she is the creator/writer of the second generation fairy tale models. So yeah, I think it's safe to assume that Abe really is Grave. Now, I would also like to point out this logo on Abe's sleeve, because this logo resembles the one that can be found on Rapunzel's clothes, which is why I want to assume that this might be the logo of the VTC. If you don't know what the VTC is a medical organization operated by the church, and it's where Rapunzel is from. So I think it makes sense to assume that this is indeed their logo. And since Abe also has this logo on her sleeve, I want to suggest that she might be a researcher affiliated with the VTC. This might further explain why Grave knows about the Vaphouse, because if you didn't know, in Red Ash, the VTC was conducting research to find ways on how to fix Nikke corruption. So I think it makes sense to assume that the VTC is the organization who did research on the Vaphouse, and that the Vaphouse Institute is actually owned by them. And since they're a medical organization, I think it makes sense that they're the ones tasked with conducting research on the legendary Cavar's blood, as well as the creation of the Vapo's bullets, which included human cells as ingredients. And now that I think about it, the VTC being involved might actually explain why Rapunzel is the free SSR of the event. Now I also want to point out that Graves' name might actually be a reference to the original, or at least the Graves version of Cinderella's fairy tale. Because if you didn't know, in this version of the story, Cinderella would visit her mother's grave every day to cry ever since her mother passed away. So maybe this is the reason why Abe chose the name Grave, because as the person who created the second generation fairy tale models, she might see Cinderella and the rest as her children. So she chose a name that can be connected to the mother of the original Cinderella. Now I apologize if I sounded like my mind is all over the place in this video, because honestly, it is. After all, I'm very excited with all the stuff that was teased in the second anniversary livestream, especially about Ave, so I made this video without any preparation. But hopefully I'll be able to make more videos about her once the second year anniversary drops. But anyway, that's it for this video. Please consider liking and subscribing, and feel free to comment what you're most excited about in the upcoming second year anniversary event.